Professor Patrick Locke Odieno Lumumba, a luminary in legal scholarship and a fiery orator, has consistently maintained that corruption is the most profitable business in Kenya. This assertion, delivered with his characteristic blend of intellectual rigor and impassioned conviction, is not merely a hyperbolic statement. It is a scathing indictment of a systemic malaise that he believes has crippled Kenya's progress and betrayed the dreams of its citizens. For Lumumba, corruption is not just a moral failing, but a deeply entrenched, economically rationalized enterprise for those who partake in it. Lumumba's analysis begins with the stark reality. For those engaged in corruption in Kenya, the risks often appear minimal compared to the potential rewards. The system, he argues, is engineered to protect the perpetrators, especially those at the highest echelons of power. They hang the petty thieves, he famously quips, and elect the great ones into public offices. This cynical truth highlights the perception that grand corruption, involving multi-million-dollar scams and tenders, carries less personal risk than petty street crime. The sheer scale of illicit gains often outweighs any deterrence posed by a compromised justice system. He points to the weakening of institutions as a primary enabler of this profitable business. When the police, judiciary, and anti-corruption agencies are themselves susceptible to influence, bribery, or political manipulation, their ability to investigate, prosecute, and convict corrupt individuals is severely hampered. Lumumba, having served as the director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, KCC, speaks from a place of first-hand experience. He encountered the formidable resistance of entrenched networks, where attempts to bring high-profile individuals to justice were often met with legislative roadblocks, political interference, and public smear campaigns. This institutional fragility transforms corruption from a criminal act into a virtually risk-free investment. Furthermore, Lumumba dissects the economic incentives at play. In a country where legitimate entrepreneurial pathways might be arduous, slow, and heavily taxed, engaging in corruption can offer exponential, quick returns. A public official with the power to award tenders, manipulate procurement processes, or issue licenses can amass vast sums of wealth in a short period, far exceeding what could be earned through honest labor. This disparity in earning potential makes corruption an attractive business model for those in positions of power, fostering a perverse incentive structure within the public service. The concept of revolving door politics further perpetuates corruption as a profitable venture. Lumumba often highlights how individuals accused of corruption, or even those convicted, frequently find their way back into positions of influence, whether in government, parastatals, or private sector roles that continue to interact with public funds. This recycling of corrupt figures sends a clear message. There are no real consequences for graft, and the business can continue uninterrupted. It undermines public trust and reinforces the idea that corruption is a viable career path. Lumumba also touches upon the social acceptance and even admiration of ill-gotten wealth. He laments that in some segments of Kenyan society, vast displays of unexplained wealth are met with awe rather than scrutiny. Individuals who have demonstrably enriched themselves through corrupt means are often celebrated, given chieftaincy titles, and treated with deference, rather than being ostracized. This normalization of corruption creates a conducive environment for the business to thrive, as the moral and social deterrents are significantly eroded. People might aspire to join the ranks of the corrupt, rather than condemning them, viewing it as a path to success. The political economy of elections in Kenya also contributes to corruption's profitability. Lumumba often argues that a significant portion of illicit gains is channeled into election campaigns, making politics an incredibly expensive undertaking. Individuals invest heavily in securing political office, viewing it as a means to access public resources and recoup their investment through corrupt practices. This creates a vicious cycle where corruption funds elections, and elected officials then engage in corruption to prepare for the next election. In this scenario, public office becomes a temporary business opportunity rather than a public trust. Moreover, Lumumba points to the weak legislative and oversight mechanisms. While Kenya has an array of laws and conventions against corruption, their implementation is often the weakest link. Parliament, meant to provide oversight, can sometimes be compromised, with members prioritizing personal gain or political patronage over their constitutional duties. This lack of rigorous scrutiny allows corrupt deals to go undetected or unchallenged. For Lumumba, the ultimate tragedy of corruption being the most profitable business is its devastating impact on the ordinary Kenyan. The diverted funds meant for hospitals, schools, infrastructure, and clean water are siphoned off, leading to dilapidated public services, unemployment, and persistent poverty. Corruption, in his view, is a crime against humanity because it directly causes suffering and death by denying citizens basic necessities. In conclusion, Professor PLO Lumumba's assertion that corruption is the most profitable business in Kenya is a chillingly accurate diagnosis of a deeply systemic problem. It encapsulates the intricate web of compromised institutions, lack of political will, perverse economic incentives, and distorted societal values that allow corruption to flourish. His tireless efforts to expose this system are a crucial step, for as he often implies, the first step to curing a disease is to accurately name and understand it, no matter how uncomfortable the truth may be. Only by dismantling this profitable business can Kenya unlock its true potential and build a society based on justice, equity, and sustainable development.